Leave Vinay alone. Leave him alone. Hey, what's up, guys? I haven't seen you guys in a couple of days now. I had fun one night with my friends, drank too much, hangover for 2 days. I didn't make a video. And then I'm getting sick now, but I feel like a little bit crappy right now. But hopefully, this is the worst it gets. So I can make more videos for you guys tomorrow. All right, so we're doing the Melbourne Bounce collab, and I wanted to touch on something before we get started. A lot of people give and I hate, and I wouldn't do that. And I feel like that's something that I hate about our community as a whole, is we try to kind of, we trying to kind of attack each other. So like we have the big room producers and all that, the Melbourne Bounce guys. But what I wanted to touch up on is Vinay. Vinay's always releasing stuff that sounds the same, and to me, that's just their style. It's like getting mad at Metallica because all their songs were rock and they all had a guitar and the drums and maybe keyboards and whatnot. So that's kind of stupid. Vinay found their sound, and obviously they're exploiting it. If I want to hear that type of Melbourne bounce, I know to go to Vinay. So that's the cool thing about branding. Vinay has that idea, like a bigger Melbourne bounce. So try not to give him that much hate, but leave him alone. All right, guys. So the other thing I want to touch up on is that it shouldn't take you longer than a day to finish a track. And the reason I'm saying this is because this collaboration series, what I want to teach you guys is that, there's not, finishing a track up is really important, just because, it helps you improve your skills once you have an idea to just get it out of your head and finish it. And that's one of the problems that a lot of people have, I feel. I even still have that problem. But this is my biggest advice. If you're uninspired by a song and you just can't come up with a breakdown for it because, you're just not feeling it, then move on. If you can't come up with a breakdown for it because you're half asleep, then obviously go to sleep and then work on it in the morning. But a track shouldn't take you longer than a day to a few days to finish. And a lot of the big producers don't take like as much time as you guys think they do on a track. Like Blaster Jacks even said on an interview, live cast, it takes them about 6 hours to finish a track. That's with drop, breakdown, and drop, and an intro and outro. Audien has even stated it only takes him a day, and usually his best tracks are the ones he finishes in a day. And the main reason for that, it correlates, because if you're really inspired, you're going to work faster, you know what to do. You're not going to be like, oh, fuck, what do I do? Let me go check on other tracks. So that's just a quick thing to note. Also, this series is more for fun and teaching you guys how to finish a track. So let's get to it. So I made a vocal for fun, and it's a very gay vocal. So if you're homophobic, get the fuck out.
Oh my god, Josh is so hot. Do you think I should go up to talk to him? Oh wait, it sounds like my song. Maybe I should put my hands up. Oh my god, he's so cute.
So that's what we have right now. So we're gonna work on the drums right now. I was gonna make like a vocal lead, but again, we'll do that maybe towards the end of the series, just to make sure the song moves on, because we gotta get to the breakdown. All right. So what I'm gonna put is this what I like to call at or ride, and it sounds like this. Let me see if this pack has it from Single Makers Melbourne Energy Bounce. That's a ride, the one they use on the kick. So this is the way you would use it. Yeah, and then rotate. So the ride is there to add energy to the track. It has a lot of white noise, so it will always come out, punch through, and it's just like because the clap's always hitting on the second kick and on the fourth kick in a bar. It's just boom, pass, boom, pass. So the ride gives it momentum, and remember, the faster something goes, the more energy there's there. It's like a car going really fast. There's a lot of momentum, a lot of energy. Same concept. All right, so now we're gonna get some hats. So what we do is just find the sample you want to use. I'm gonna use a drum rack. I feel like it's not used as much by producers. And I'll tell you why, because it's really sensitive. And you know, you have to watch your velocities with it, but that's the beauty of it, that you can make something sound like someone is really playing the hats. So let's do hats. Oh, come on. Come on. Drum rack. I'm gonna put some hats in there. Not a red. Now with the hats, we want them to be really like. You can see they're really, really loud. Or volume down. What I want to do is just create a pattern. So in your head, once you're listening to it, go ta ta ta. So one of the key strategies I have whenever I make my own drum loops, because I sometimes want to do it, it's like a goal of mine to make my own drum loops, because I tend to use a lot of drum loops because that's my weakness, is the rhythm of drums, knowing what to do with it. So one of the things I've learned to do is I look at the track as it's going, and if you notice in Ableton, you're gonna see that thing moving. So in your head, be like, and then you can kind of go with it there. So, you know, let's say I wanted to do that. Kind of have an idea. It goes right here. That's kind of like an idea, or let's say I want to do something crazier. It's kind of the same concept. You just look where the line is when you go in your head, da, da, and then you go from there. But I like the first one I did, so I'm gonna keep that one. Okay, so now I'm gonna make a reverb for the drums, which it looks like we have already. Yeah, it should be the reverb for the drums. So we're gonna add a bit of reverb to those hats. We want to kind of pan them a bit. We're gonna add a reverb to the right as well. Pan it to the right as well, and the claps to the left. Okay, now let's add, I'm thinking about adding like a shaker. And then we're gonna bust these together. I'm gonna use a loop for this, just to save time. Now with the shaker, since we have a lot of hats on the right already and a ride, we want to kind of surround the whole sound with some percussion. So a lot of the things I do is if I use a shaker and I have a ride and a hat already, I like to move it to the left, pan it to the left a bit, but not to the point where it's like with the claps. All right, awesome. So, someone asked me what Trillion was doing in a previous video, and pretty much what Trillion is the sub for our track. So, one of the things I've been teaching, even the Progressive House Collaborate series, which was the first one. So if you haven't checked it out, make sure to check it out if you want. Is that it's a really good strategy to always separate your bases. So when you go and use presets or patches, or you make your own, a lot of the times you like to make the bass already in there. So like me, I make my sample packs. I live in Revolution Spire. If I make a bass, I always layer it with a sub. Now you can use it that way, but the way I'm teaching you guys is where you separate that. So you remove the low end from the bass that you're gonna use, and you put a sub to really just emphasize that low end, and you remove the low end from the bass, which would be this one. Is that you can clean up the sub individually, and then once you have your bass, you can do a lot more to it. You don't necessarily have to put that upper bass in mono. And what you want to do is you want to kind of have that kind of separation in your track where your low end is kind of has its room, you know. So usually in the center we picture stuff like the bass and the kick being there, and then on the sides we have, you know, the leads, and then we have the percussion more to the sides, and the claps in the center sometimes as well. So it all depends on your preference. So the idea of using Trillion as our sub in order to do silent, it's just a lot more cleaner, and you can do so much. You can get the track louder because you can just get your track to sound cleaner, which is the whole point of it. So that's the idea of using Trillion. So I'm gonna do. That's our drumming right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna compress our drums together in a bus. I'm gonna hold Control and click on all of them, then push Control G. So there we have it. Now what I'm gonna do is compress the drums together. I like to use the Go compressor like I did in the first one. The beautiful compressor from Plugin Alliance. Now, why do bus compression on drums like that? So the main reason I want to do that is because compression, again, is lowering dynamics. So I talked about this in the first video, but it's so important because people still confuse it with sidechain and all this shit. But, you know, compression, the reason we use it there is because we want everything to be sort of like on a level. And sometimes we're going to have these samples kind of spike up in volume really loud. So we want to kind of get everything on the same level for the drums so I can get the drums louder. So you guys can see here. With it on, with it off. So this is with it on. Now with it off, you can, okay, so notice what I want you to focus on is the clap. The clap is like loud without the compressor, but once you put that compressor on, the cloud's clap sounds as loud as the rides and the hi-hats. So this is with the compressor off, and then we're gonna put it on. And now with it on. So you can see the difference it makes. Now, other things we want to do is sidechain anything that's moving really fast, so or that would be in the way of the kick, which would be the shaker. I'm gonna do a sidechain to that. Sorry. With it on, it just adds more groove to the whole track. We wouldn't sidechain the clap or the ride because they're hitting on the kick. So what we want to do is make sure that the rides and the ride and the claps are kind of panned just a bit, because the kick again is going to be in the center. So we don't want these. Guys, so that's going to be it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. This is working on the drums. We did the same thing we did in the first one, if you noticed. Alright guys, so that's going to be it. We ran out of time, but in the next video we'll work on the breakdown after we put some effects. So I'll see you guys next time.